I agree with you, Big Rob. I agree with you 100%. It better be free to play. I'm not saying that because I'm greedy or anything. Like, you're going against, when you make a Battle Royale game, you're going against the largest Battle Royale game, which is, right now, Fortnite, which is free to play. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Uh, I've always been told that the Titanfall games were fun. I never got to own one yet. I may get Titanfall 2 because a lot of people were saying that the storyline was pretty good. The story mode was pretty good in it. And it does look like a game that I would like, but uh, just like anything else, just like whatever happened with Titanfall, it always ends up disappearing. Just it comes out and then a few weeks later, no one talks about it anymore. That's been Titanfall. That's been the issue with Titanfall forever. They definitely do need to do something where they can get this ISP out, or rather, this IP out into intellectual property, and actually have it survive for more than a month, and at the same time not release it on the same month as Call of Duty or a Battlefield game comes out. 8 a.m. PST, which is when the stream starts. And then they're saying that it leads up to a full reveal at noon PST again, I would assume. I don't really know why everything had leaked. Let me back a bit before I get to that, so I can burn some time. I didn't get into the Call of Duty games, to be honest. I liked Modern Warfare 1, but I never got anything past that. And Call of Duty just turned into a game that I just couldn't get into after a while. It just started getting more and more gimmicky. And, I just had to call it a day after a bit. Titanfall, on the other hand, looks like a pretty cool game overall. I'm not sure why everything leaked Saturday and Sunday. It does seem like that they had playtesters because there are leaks to. I feel like there are leaks, at least from the playtesters, or maybe even planned leaks from some of the developers and people like that. The Battlefield is a weird game. Overall, it's a weird game. I like the Battlefield series, but there's a lot of things that are a bit counterintuitive. I feel they sacrifice the map design by trying to either be cinematic and because of that the maps don't feel balanced all the time. And that's a bit of a shame. I still play Battlefield 5 though. I'm trying to get into it. It feels pretty good so far, and it does have a long way to go. There are a lot of mistakes that have been there since Battlefield 4. So hopefully EA and DICE can fix that game, because if DICE can't make a proper Battlefield game, then DICE is going to be in. There's going to be blood in the water pretty soon. Yeah, Battlefield always comes out broken, but it's just such a huge IP that it's so difficult to just destroy it. It's just so difficult for it to not actually go anywhere. Even when it underperforms, they still make profit out of it. They're just that big now. The only exception to that, of course, would be Battlefield Hardline, but again, that's just more of a marketing mistake than anything else. Marketing and price mistake. Hardline was a pretty solid game in my opinion. You gotta give DICE credit. Like, they know that they have a tight schedule and they know how to fix it. But that is a weird thing how they're using the same engine. And even though they're still using the same engine, they still have the same problems year after year, game after game. It's a bit annoying. I don't know why that happens. You would think all that would be built into the engine by now, but for whatever reason, it's not. Like, my only guess, and I could be entirely wrong, my only guess is that they already have like very, very alpha builds, like very early alpha builds for these type of games. Like they know what they're going to build, and then all of a sudden they realize, oh wait, these games have the same problem as the previous ones, and now they have to port everything over because those weren't discovered when they started working on those builds. I guess that's my only guess. That's the only thing that makes sense. And that's been my complaint overall with the Battlefield series. It's a fun game, but it always feels like, first off, it feels a bit copy and paste nowadays. And secondly, it doesn't feel like, as we're saying, a well-built game or a solid game. You have to wait 6 months for it to actually be a decent product. And then you have to wait another 6 months for it to fix 80% of the issues that it had. Staying on that topic though, there's some small community within DICE somewhere that wants to make Battlefield competitive. But almost every decision that they make in the Battlefield game goes against what you need to make the game competitive. One of the best things they've done one of the best things that they have done though is change the gunplay up so that it's actually skill based rather than just random patterns. And I'm glad they did that. But they still need to work a lot on spawn locations, map balance, and map design. Those are really the three big things they have to work on to make that game good for competitive. Because domination is fun, but then you can spawn trap people in domination. So that's not fun anymore, and that's not really competitive, if I'm honest. One thing that I'm glad they did draw back on a little bit is the demolition. And the demolition is it's a lot more lenient than it was in Battlefield 4. If you got caught in a closed out in a building that was falling down, you were dead instantly. And now in Battlefield 1 you actually have a chance. Or in Battlefield 5 you have a chance. And it doesn't seem to unbalance the map as much. It does seem like, these buildings are stable enough so they're not 100% destroyed. And so long as they keep that and they work with that to make the game competitive. Yeah, the destructive elements are always fun. And especially now in Battlefield, it's a staple. Just that when you're trying to put competitive elements, when you're trying to make a game competitive, you can't have the destructive elements unbalancing the map and unbalancing the game. You would have to do something like what Rainbow Six Siege did, where you can destroy certain things, you can destroy certain walls, you can shoot through certain walls, but not everything is destructible. And the things that are destructible are on purpose. And it seems like DICE had put in some of that to effect, so like only half a building blows up instead of the entire building. Now they just have to make it where that half of the building is still playable and, balanced. It is very possible that they'll do that. It would sound like them. Well, I think they're still banking on the Battlefield Battle Royale first and see how that does. Well, the thing is, a little while back they were saying that they don't know what made Bad Company work or Bad Company 2 work, right? And I don't know why they haven't gone back to 2140 whatever, because again, that's a that was another popular game. And especially now when we actually have the technology to build a super sci-fi world, I think the only reason why they haven't done it, maybe, is because of Titanfall. since Titanfall is kind of like 2142, just that it's more, it's its own in its own way. Just like right now, I don't think EA has the golden parachute. I think they just have games that they know will sell, and I think that's all they're banking on right now. I would like to see a modern 21 whatever, and I already have a theory for the Battlefield Battle Royale, which is that it's all tied into time travel and it ends up in the sequel to 2142. But either that is way out there or I am 3 steps ahead of Dyson EA, but well, we'll have to see. And that's the only thing that I could see making the Battlefield Battle Royale work. Because if they only tie it to World War II, that would be problematic. I feel if they tied it into only Battlefield to only World War One and World War Two, again that would feel a little problematic. It would be neat if they did the same thing that like Blackout did, where they combined every single game and turned it into a battle royale. And that's why I said um, the whole time travel thing would work, because then you can have the futuristic weapons, the Battlefield 4 weapons, and all the different customizations. You could be running around with a World War II helmet and have a futuristic backpack, stuff like that. Just a mix and mash of essentially the greatest hits of Battlefield. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's the case. From the few trailers that we've seen, that doesn't seem to be the case. So, and I don't even know if that battle royale is going to be free to play or if that's tied in directly to Battlefield 5. Yeah, I know. I know the weapon balance would be all over the place. But at least for the sake of cosmetics, it would be neat to see, you know, all of these styles from World War One all the way to Battle to 2140 whatever, 2142. Yeah. It's tied to Battlefield 5 and we've already seen it that you're going to have tanks and all that. Yep. We'll just have to see what they do because even for Battlefield, it would probably be like one of the largest maps they'll ever make. Well, they still want to make money. If they're smart, they'll have a season pass, but maybe not. Like, the way that they've shown the Battlefield 5 Battle Royale, it doesn't really look hopeful right now. Yeah, I did. I did play a few matches. I won one match. Uh, my only, the only thing that I don't really like is having to worry about the cold aspect of it, where you have to constantly build a campfire. I know they do it so you don't camp, but you know, that's almost like the whole draw to battle royale games where you can't really camp anyways, because they keep eliminating the zones. I like how the zones don't get um what is it? Eliminated sequentially like it does in a regular battle royale. So you can have little spots of safe zones here and there instead of it just being just one circle that that don't shrink. The announcer also is kind of weird because of the power stat they have. I can see that being abused by people here and there. It's a unique concept at the very least. It's a very unique concept. It's fun to play. One game that I've been playing a lot of that's very similar in regards to it being a very smaller version of a battle royale is Hunt's Showdown. And I'm going to be making a. I already made a video of that, and I'll release probably tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then Wednesday, because apparently this whole Apex Legends thing is going to last up until 3 o'clock, which is insane. As much as Darwin Project is cool, Darwin Project does look cool, but it does need. But it's a battle royale game, and there's a dime a dozen right now. You already have your staples. It's very competitive. It's great that they did make it a much smaller version, and I think that's probably what's going to help it the most. The only thing is that there's not a whole lot of publicity about it. You don't really hear a whole lot about the Darwin Project. I'm sure it has a community and all that. I'm not trying to call it down. I'm just saying that in relation to these other battle royale games, I rarely ever hear about Darwin Project.